Hey, so good afternoon. My name is Sergeant Raul Fevish. I'm with the Yuma Police Department. I will tell everybody that when I start this presentation, I want you guys to be thinking about what can you do for us so that when we contact people and we need resources, what can you give us so that we can help them? Okay, so that's what I want you to think about when we do this presentation. So about 10 years ago, I started working with the mental health in the community. That was with Lieutenant Simmons and Captain Chapman. Even back then, I knew that there was a lot more work to be done. I tried getting a mental health team together, and I just couldn't do it. I went through, I don't know, 2 or 3 chiefs, and I gave them presentations, I gave them the numbers. I told them that the community needed a team that would go out and help the people that couldn't help themselves, but we just couldn't get it done. So, the next slide. So, I want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for letting me do this presentation, but I really want to thank Chief Garrity, because without him, we would never have this opportunity to have this program. So, and these are some of the other people that really helped us get this program up and running. Lieutenant Wright was really good at doing all our policies and procedures. Chief Fields, he was outstanding. He wanted this to work, and we actually got a paramedic to be with us now, so it's an outstanding thing. Next slide. All right, so in order for this to work, we had to have 2 dedicated officers that really had a passion for helping people, and we have Officer Arguelles and Officer Ross, and they are the police side of the co-responding unit. They have over 10 years of experience on the road. They know a lot about the mental health community, and since we started this, we actually started in August 18th. Since we started this, we've just been nonstop. I thought we were probably going to have maybe 1 or 2 calls a day, but we're finding out that we're having 3 to 5 to 6 calls a day. Not only that, but I've never seen dispatch, our YPD dispatch, we always have pickup and transport orders. So we constantly have people that we need to contact and take to the mental health facility. Right now, there's times when we don't have any, because these 2 officers are finding everybody and they're convincing them to go to CBI. And I'll tell you, it's outstanding, because I've never seen that. And we don't have to put people in handcuffs to go over there. These 2 officers talk to them, and then they want to go over there. We've taken them to Onvita, which is great. Our pickup and transport orders, CBI told me the other day that we've taken so many people over there that we actually have to now, they have to send people out of town because they have no more beds. So it's outstanding. I've never really seen that. Next slide. So in order for this to work as a co-responder, we wanted to have a clinician to be with us. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But what YFD, what they wanted to have a paramedic that was going to be embedded with us, so that when we went to these calls, if there was any need for medical services, that there would be a paramedic there. So Officer Kellen Tremmel is going to be the paramedic with us. He starts November 10th. All of the officers are going to be trained in CIT. Our officers are going over there at the end of the month. We'll get Kellen over there at some point so that everybody is CIT certified. And at some point, I'd like to try to get our officers EMT certified so that they can help the paramedic if they need to. I think from what YFD is saying, there's a lot of times when people will call for fire, and then fire has to send an ambulance and a fire truck to that location, and then they find out that they really didn't need it. What they needed was maybe a paramedic to go over there, talk to them, try to find out what's going on, but they really didn't need all those resources. So having Kellen with the team, we're going to be responding to all those calls. And I'm going to tell you that I didn't think there was a lot of calls, but dispatch has been showing me that there's going to be plenty of calls that they're going to respond to. I think it's an outstanding thing to have a paramedic in there. There's a lot of people that we go over there and we talk to, and they're having medical issues, but us as police officers, we don't know what the medical issues are. But having the paramedic there is going to be a tremendous boost to our program. Next. So this is the reason why we have the co-responding program. As you're taking a look at this, I also want you to understand that the main reason is we have people in our community that are calling the PD because they really need help. They have, a lot of them have mental health disabilities that they can't cope with. And the co-responders are starting to get to a point now, and we've only been doing this since August 18th, where we can actually go to a person's house and we know what's wrong with the person already because we've already talked to the person. We know who their counselors are at the facilities that they go to. We can call their counselors up and have them respond. And we've done that on many occasions. I think Horizon has done that. Who else has been doing that for us? So this program is not just police officers going out responding to people, but we're actually there to actually talk to that person. We may spend 30 minutes to an hour to 2 hours just trying to convince the person that they actually need some help, and that we can take them, especially to Onvita, and we can take them over there and they can get the help that they need. It's really a great program. I can't do this program alone, but I need you guys because there's people out there that need more help than what I can give them. Some people need food. If they need food, I need to know somebody that I can go to so that they can provide that service. Everybody in this room will touch somebody else as long as we, well, let's say it like that, but everybody in this room will help somebody else out. All you got to do is let me know what you can provide for us, and we can talk to somebody and get them in services with you. So this is the way it's broke down. Team 1 is Officer Ross. He works at Monday through Thursday. Right now it's at 07 to 1700. That time changes. And it changes because we're always in constant need. Before 07, we're always getting calls. After 1700, we're always getting calls. These guys didn't think they were going to do a whole lot of overtime. They're making a lot more overtime than what they thought because there's constant calls. We go to attempted suicides, any type of crisis problem, you name it. They have weekends and holidays off. I had to give them some time off. They go anywhere in the city. So I tried to split it up on 4th Avenue. I wanted an east and a west. That didn't work out because we have a lot of people that are on the west and not as many people on the east. So now they go everywhere. Next. So team 2 is going to be Officer Arguelles, and this is where Kellen Trammell is going to fit in. The reason why he's team 2 is that we have an SUV, and because of all the equipment that the paramedic needs, we needed to have a bigger vehicle. So that's what they have. They are working a Tuesday through Friday. I got to tell you that I didn't think that we actually needed anybody for the weekends, but I'm thinking we may actually need some people for the weekends. So I'm just letting the chief know right now with everybody here. there's just a lot of people that require this type of professional service. So we teach, well, we used to teach all of our officers mental health first aid. I taught a lot of officers in the county that mental health first aid, but not all officers really know the way the system works and what resources are out there. So the biggest thing is having these two officers know what resources are out there and who to call when they need it. That's the most important part of it. Regular officers don't have that information. Regular officers go out to the call and they're trying to fix it within minutes so that they can go to the next call. Our officers don't do that. Once they get on scene, sometimes they're there, like I said, for 2 hours just talking with somebody, just to get them to get services. Next slide. All right, so here's some of the stats. We started on August 18th, so for the rest of that month, we had 82 calls for service. And that was only a few days. And that was also days in training, because those are the days that I had to take the officers to all the mental health facilities so that they could talk to all the people. We had the sheriff's office went over there and they gave them classes. So it was a lot of training, but we responded to 82 calls. In September, we had 151 calls. Now, the Yuma Police Department has thousands of calls. So this is really a small number, but it's a huge number when you're talking about the community that has mental health issues. 151 calls in September is huge for us, and we only have 2 officers. I know the officers, they weren't expecting to get this many calls. I mean, they had less calls when they were actually patrol officers working patrol. Now they're going to all these calls. The good thing is they don't take so much paper, but they're still going to this many calls, and they're still helping. I mean, they're helping a tremendous amount of people. October, we had 33 calls, so total calls for service is 218 since we started. Next slide. All right, so I don't know, this is kind of hard to see, but so the thing that I want you to take a look at on this is the corresponding crisis. When we call crisis, there's 50 times that we called crisis. 25 of those are from the corresponding and 25 are from regular officers. So we call crisis all the time. That's why it would be nice to have a crisis team person embedded with us. That way that person could be Johnny on the spot when we're doing this work. But we call crisis. They still come in, what's the average time? 25, 30 minutes normally. So it's not bad. Follow-ups, regular officers don't do follow-ups. We do follow-ups. So if we have somebody that we do call crisis on, and let's say that at that particular time they don't want to go to go see a specialist, we'll go back over there 2 or 3 days later to see how they're doing. That way we know that whether they're okay or they're not okay. Now we have some people that are consumers that that call in quite often. What we found was now they're not calling in as often as they are. So that's helping the officers on patrol, and it's also helping the person that was calling in. Because now, I can't say names, there's one person that now is in the facility under court order treatment, and they're getting the help they need. And I'm hoping that it changes their life. We don't know yet because they're still in the facility, but you know, you can always cross your fingers. We don't do a whole lot of Title 36s, and the reason we don't do that is because we've been able to getting most people to volunteer to go in and get services. And I'll tell you, I don't have a problem arresting people. I got no problem arresting somebody that needs to be arrested. But I would rather them go to a facility and get help, and we can always do whatever we need to do on the back end, whether it's a citation or a long form. I would rather them get help than actually get arrested. Because going to get arrested is not really going to help them. I don't know, Victoria, will it help them? Okay, I was just making sure, because... Okay, all right, well, if we have to arrest them, we will. And then you guys can take care of them. But other than that, we're trying to get them the help that they need. So this is really not bad stats, because we've only been doing this for a little over a month. So what I'd like to do, next one. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for Officer Ross and Arguelles to give you a little bit of insight on what they see out on the road. So I'm going to have them talk to you a little bit about what they've seen.
Good afternoon, everybody. He told me to keep it down to one. So one in particular that I was going to talk about is a person, I can't give any names, but there's been about, since the start of the year, 36 documented calls, but that number is way underscored. We can usually run on her maybe, as a police department, probably 3 times a day on certain days when she's really active. The fire department, probably the same. It took me about 2 weeks for to actually stop and talk to me. Maybe about week 3, you know, I said, hey, what do you need? I got her a drink. Eventually got her to talk to me a little bit longer. I said, what do you really want? She said, smokes. So I actually got her to sit and wait with me and got her a pack of smokes, which I know I don't like cigarettes, but got her a pack of smokes, got her to talk to Crisis. She had pants that came down to here. She was totally exposed to herself multiple times throughout the day. So she got taken up to the Rock, got closed. She ended up getting titled later that day. She got a little better when she got titled, got back out, started the same thing. This year alone, I think she's had 9 or 10 indecent exposure calls on her. So she's back in CBI right now, getting treatment. So far, so good. She's on quarter-hour treatment, so I hope it works out for her. I do notice, since deal with a lot of these people, they're starting to trust us more. So like the 3rd, 4th, 5th contact, they're actually welcome. When they see police, they usually go like, they kind of walk away. When they see us, they're like, okay. All right, so that's good. So it's a positive step in the right direction.
How you doing? I'm Officer Arguelles. So one of the things that I've saw so far in this program is, like he said, the people who come to us, they trust us more. For example, we had an incident where we were involved with an individual who did not like police, and to this day he still doesn't like police. But with me and Ross talking to him, we established a partnership with him, and now he knows when we show up, you know, he complies. He's very, very cordial with us. He's not disrespectful like he is to normal patrol officers. But this program is effective. It's breaking down barriers and creating relationships with some people out in the street. And I've been told by some of these people that, hey, thank you very much. You know, I like you. You're helping me. The other day I went to a call in the Area 50 out in the foothills where this individual is suffering from bipolarism, severe anxiety, and whenever this person moves, it triggers her anxiety. So the other day I was working with her on coping skills, obviously talking down from 10 to 1, breathing, focusing on the problem and trying to reassess the situation. So I got Crisis out there to talk to her. We couldn't really get her to go anywhere, but we're in the right step to getting her the help that she needs, and she understands it. And from now, she also calls for me or Officer Ross. So like I said, we're building these partnerships with people and the trust that's building. I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Raul.
Hello everyone, I'm Kellen Tremor. I work for the Yuma Fire Department. I've been a paramedic for about 21 years now. I currently represent YFD on the Amberley's Place multidisciplinary team as well. I'm an instructor at the Arizona Western College Law Enforcement Training Academy. For about 15 years, I've been involved in law enforcement, kind of special operations medicine. On that end, I've been a tactical paramedic for the Sheriff's Office SWAT team for 5 years, and I'm currently a paramedic on the Yuma Police Department Special Enforcement Team. So I'm pretty well versed in police and fire operations, kind of both, and screening patients out for medical problems versus psychiatric versus drug. So it's going to be our job, basically, on the team to screen these patients for appropriate transport to facilities as well, and on top of gaining rapport with all of our mental health patients that we run on frequently, both with the fire department and the police department. So that's kind of where we're going to fit in, hopefully assisting YPD and YFD and the city in general, building this program up so that it's successful for both departments, something that we can create a joint partnership with YPD and YFD in treating these patients and getting them to where they need to go versus maybe leaving them on the street. So we're pretty excited. I'm excited to help these guys out and kind of build the department and build the program from the ground up with Sergeant Fevish. So thank you guys very much for your time.
Right now, I'd like to introduce the chief.
So we all know that mental health affects all walks of life. It doesn't matter whether you're poor, well-to-do, what jobs you have, what experiences you have. Mental health affects every one of us. Everybody has somebody in their family, if not themselves, that have suffered through some mental crisis. And when we look at what can we do as police and law enforcement is we know that we cannot arrest our way out of problems. We got to find out what the core problem is, and it is a crisis. And we know that if somebody's having a mental crisis, they might self-medicate. So when they start self-medicating with illegal narcotics, that's how they end up spiraling down. That's how homelessness can be, is that a lot of homeless suffer through some mental illnesses that may have been caused by one traumatic event or another. And so we know that as a police department, in order for us to solve our problems, we have to work as a village. And every one of us has a part. While we get the call for somebody acting erratic or violent, that has, as everybody's seen in the news, caused some tragic incidents to where police are using force or family members are getting hurt. Well, what can we do to do it? And I know that was one of the first things that I looked at was, what are we doing with mental health? And when I spoke to all the different members of the police department, I will tell you that Sergeant Fevish sits there and says, we want to do this. We've been trying to do this. And he has put his heart and soul into this, and I know for years you have. And so it was like, okay, let's do this. And I know there are different models all across the country. But we have to do what we think is best. Some may agree with what we do, some may disagree with what we do, but at least we're doing something. And that's the important thing. We can always change our model. We can always refocus things, but at least we're trying to do something. And when Sergeant Raul says that he needs everyone's help, we do need everyone's help. Whether it's Crossroad Missions, whether it's Unvita, whether it's the Drug Coalition, to get the people to help. And again, we can't do this alone, and no person in this room can do it alone. So I am very proud to have Sergeant Fevish leading, so thank you.
Well, the last thing I want to leave you with is, so I think Yuma is different than all the other cities. The other cities, they all have different ways of doing things, but with Yuma being the way Yuma is, having officers on scene actually talking with people and giving that personal touch to try to get people help, I think it's actually working. Well, right now I can say that it's working fantastic. We've talked to a lot of people who's had mental health issues that has scared other people in the community, and we were able to I was able to send my guys out there. They went and talked to this person and got them to de-escalate everything that they were doing. We got them some help, and now everything's back to normal. And I'm hoping that this person, and I was specifically one person I was talking about, you know, does great and you know, later on, and gets the help that they need, and we don't ever have to see them again. But if we do, now we know who they are, and we're here for them, and they know our names. They know that they can call on us, and that when we go out there, we know them personally. And I think that makes a big difference. Talking to somebody on the phone with dispatch is one thing, but actually being out in the community and talking with the community members and letting them know who we are and having them trust us, that is a whole new level. So again, I want to thank the coalition for letting us do this, and I want to thank you all beforehand, because I know we're going to be calling on you for certain things. Just give us what you can, and we can help the people in our community. Any questions? Yes.
Thank you for doing this, and I think all around the country we're seeing a lot of cuts to mental health resources. I think more than just relying on these wonderful providers in the crowd here is potentially connecting offline with Joanne, this wonderful organization, to figure out what can we actually do. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit. We have people that are trained in trauma-informed care that can provide free training for your officers. My husband's a paramedic captain, and he goes on very horrific calls at times, and I don't feel like he's prepared to be able to provide medical services, absolutely. But I know there's a huge need and a gap that I think the mental health community and providers can help provide, like free of charge, to the officers and YFD. And so my first ask is like, what is the ask that we can do as providers and individuals that have training in adverse childhood experiences, trauma-informed care? We have therapists in town, like, you know, what are ways to become volunteers? Like, there's a lot of us that have a lot of passion and are very involved, but like, how can we partner with YDD and YFD in a more intentional manner is one piece. I love the fact that you said you're going to learn and evolve as this program goes along, and I think getting information back to this group around what are you seeing? As you get more data, what are the needs? And how do we specifically provide resources to YPP to meet those needs? I think it's an ask of us, but really it's like, how can we best support you, but how can we create an action plan to take initiative, and how can we do it without funding that's available, but also if there are grants with the, you know, being a 501c3 now, us being able to come alongside and provide funding that you guys had access to, like, it's time to step up, and how can we, like, make that happen to make the work you're doing easier, but also supporting your officers and your paramedics to be able to feel when they're going on a call, not just mental health, like you talked about, Chief, when a traumatic event happens, when someone passes away, when the suicide happens, and you have an officer there or a paramedic there, and you have the family member that has just experienced a traumatic event, how can we as a community support them to give that resource and the de-escalation, so then you're being preventative, so then that family member isn't then being triggered, you know, or is getting the resources they need. So mine is just, how can we actually help you versus just saying it, how can we actually create an action plan? So you don't have to answer that all the way, but
Well, I'll answer some of that, is what are the fire department and the police department doing for the officers and the families? The city has actually, is paying for what's called Under the Shield, which is a mental health service that's available free of charge. We have our critical incident stress management teams. I know the fire department has them, and I know the police department has them. And the other thing that we just recently started was our chaplain program, okay? And a lot of times is people inside the department don't want to talk to each other because nothing's ever secret, right? But that's where the chaplains are outside of the departments. They do more of an ecumenical type of therapy But it's also not only to the officers and to their families, but we're also going to be incorporating them on calls for service to where we have, like say we have a suicide or we have a death that we have to make notification on. And trust me, no officer ever wants to have to do that. That is the worst thing to do because you never know what to say. But that's where the chaplains are involved. And we have a great partnership that we've started with Border Patrol because they have such a strong chaplain program to be the mentors to the chaplains that we have in both the fire department and the police department. And that's how we're trying to do that. As far as getting all the resources, I think what we might have to do is we might have to have one main repository for that. Yeah, and so that way it is not all scattered about that, hey, you know, we're going to need to do this. And, you know, that's where the Yuma Coalition for Mental Health can help. Like, okay, this is who you want to go to. This is who we want to go to, and actually give direction that way. And, you know, it's much like when you have charities and they all step on top of each other of who's doing it. And that's something, again, that's something we have to learn as we do this.
I think that's a great idea, like, if there is that one funnel that need to go out to this group, I mean, we have a couple models to look at, even within the foster care system, like, there's this need, whether it be beds, housing, whatever it is, but to your point is like, let's narrow it initially, so then it can be expanded and scaled. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that idea, and I was going to talk to Joanne about it, but I'm glad you brought it up now. So, hey, yeah, yeah, I heard, no problem. Hey, so another thing is we do call hospice compasses. Anytime we have a suicide, we can call them, and their chaplain will go over there and talk with the family. So we try and make sure that we have somebody to be there with the family if they need it. A lot of families don't want it, but there's that option there. We're also looking at Banner. Can you explain a little bit more about that program for funding for Banner?
There is a program that basically Banner offers some funding available back to the department for services rendered. We're currently talking with them and seeing if there's options or if that's something feasible within our rules and regulations is what we can do. And it's just another way to find funding, which everybody knows funding's a little short now, to help us do what we need to do to get services to the community members.
And we're working with YFD, and we're putting together something that we can give to Banner so that hopefully we can get some funding. Anybody else?
Is the other cities doing something similar to what you guys are doing in Yuma?
I don't think so. What, is there any other cities that are doing something like we're doing?
So you're talking about the co-responder unit? Pretty much, yes. So there's many, like I said, there's many different models to it, but there's a lot of cities that are doing this because, again, realize that if we have somebody who is a frequent consumer of mental health services, the amount of money that is being spent. There was a guy that the nickname was $1 Million Murray, okay? Over 1 year, when they added up all the services that he had, cost the city $1 million. Whether that was the fire department responding, police department responding, medical assistance, but it was $1 million off one person. They end up using him as a way to start their units, and how they went from $1 million to maybe having 2 calls for service during a year. We had, one of the things that we started was hotspot policing, which we take an area that is, we were looking at gun violence. And in there, we found that there was an individual in a 6-month period made 179 calls to the Yuma Police Department. The first thing that they did is officers went out there, made contact with this individual, talked to him, and our calls for service in that area from him went to 1. So, when you look at it, I know that a lot of large cities are doing it, and I know everybody likes to think that Yuma's this small, little sleepy town. We're not. I mean, 25 years ago, maybe, but we are growing every day, and we have to look at what kind of services and things that we can give to the community to make this an even better place to live. And we know that we're growing, and that people are going to expect things. And I will tell you from, there's people that move from all over the country that aren't used to brown desert, or that they've moved across country and there's no family. And then, what can we do for them to make them feel comfortable here? Did that answer your question or no?
I think I'm asking because I ran into Trevor last year in the community, some Spanish police officers in the community, and they asked me where can we get this information for behavioral health services, and just for you guys, I don't know, it's cool for doing it, a special team that takes care of this. I understand all the costs because I wasn't familiar with as a sports provider. So I was wondering because San Luis asked me that, and I was just hoping that San Luis and some kind of do something similar to it.
Well, I will tell you that it is, we've only been able to do it in the last couple of months because of our staffing. 7, 8 years ago, the police department was probably at about 75% staffing. We are now at about 97% staffing. And so that is some of the services that have been cut in the past, because we have to answer the emergency calls for service first. When somebody called 911, they expect somebody to come. But, as we're able to build up the police department is, we now can take some of those auxiliary services that we do offer and start filling them again. And this is probably the first one that we added, for first unit that we added with the additional personnel. And, I'll sit here and praise the city council that with the pay raises, with that making us competitive, that is still drawing people here, because most of our recruits come from the community, meaning they want to stay here. Those we find out are the best police officers that we have. And so when we're able to give them competitive pay, they want to serve back to the community through the police department, through the fire department. And with that, we're able to give the services that we need. We're looking for more officers, so anybody here wants to apply. It is still, especially you guys, we do offer bonuses for laterals. But as that grows, we're going to be able to expand the units. I will tell you this. I speak to the Chief Nigel and to, I always get her name wrong because my Spanish is not that good, but Chief Alvarez. We're always talking about that and stuff. And while we would like to have one unit, the problem is that because it's so spread out and that different cities offer different services. That's what? Oh, well, it's everybody working together, and it's the ideas of the officers and what they see can help the community.
Regular officers.
Yeah, and they are receiving training in mental health first aid, but again, they don't have the expertise of all the services, who to call, that, and for them to have that, they would need a 3-ring binder about 6 inches thick of what to do. And if you call the wrong person at 2 o'clock in the morning, a lot of these places that have the co-responder unit, where they have mental health providers riding with them, they have trouble filling the evening hours and the weekends hours because they don't want to work weekends and evenings. The officers and the firemen all are used to working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, holidays, birthdays, all that. So this, what are we at? we're only about 2 months in. With that, I know the fire department just had their pinning ceremony for the 5 that are both fire and police. We are going to have ours soon. We just have to, we have a little bit different, I'm trying to think of standards that we have to have. And when I say standards, it means like, because they have to get certain clearances because of the information that they would be exposed to inside of the police station. So that we have to get those clearances before we can, but what's that? Yeah. Are we on time? Are we still going on time? And is there any other questions? What? Yeah, so I would have to check with our legal about that, because, again, the reason why the police are going out and not just the crime is because of the chance of violence. And that it doesn't help if the social workers get hurt, and, you know, nobody will want to do it then. Yeah, I mean, internship would be great, but that's something we'd have to check with city legal, because everybody likes to sue nowadays. Any other questions? Okay, again, I just want to give a hand to Sergeant Fevish, Officer Ross, Officer Andreas, and Officer Tremmel.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I love how, again, we as a community come together to make that magic happen. And it's a lot of hard work and planning and people willing to take that chance. You know, a lot of times we won't step out on that skinny branch because we're concerned about the what ifs as if it doesn't work out. So, but we'll never know if we don't take that opportunity. So right now we're going to have, we thank you for everyone being here today. We have so many events coming up. Again, we're going to share all that out, and this is the time when we get to network with one another, and this is another part of that secret sauce where you can, you see that person and you want to get that phone number, you want to collaborate, and we like to have that time within our meeting because we're all here. And I know everyone's so busy, but when you see that person and you hear that contact, this is where you can make sure you can stay around for just a little bit. There's the things that we have for you as well, and I think that's it. Do you have anything you want to add? No? Again, thank you. You guys are champions, and I just am blown away every meeting of how your heart and passion comes through for our community, and it's making all the difference for the family. So thank you. Have a great rest of your week.